There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, the huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Hey, no, don't start like that.
Hey,
all right. Out.
Do you start any of your projects like that? Hey,
no.
You've just
sup.
That's running while you're wearing a leather jacket. You've just come from your Happy Days stage show.
Well, because we were talking about hitting the button, and I was going to say, like, hit that subscribe button and the like button.
Why would you say that on a podcast?
I don't know.
It's a YouTube.
I don't know. Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast. Oh, sorry, we're keeping you up?
Are you going to actually start it as aggressively as that? That was pretty aggressive.
Listener, I yawned, but I leaned back, so it wasn't a microphone. No one would have known.
Yeah.
No one would have been the wiser. And Cam, keeping you up.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast. Oi!
Oi, yo! Cam is absolutely in the mood that if I poured him some water and it wasn't quite to the top, he'd be like, tide's out.
Yeah.
Tide's out.
I don't wet the bed, mate.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute.
And then he'd just fucking drink my drink instead.
Yeah.
I had one sip. A podcast about conspiracies.
My name is Luke.
I'm Salty.
Hey, it's me, Cam.
Oh, hey, Cam.
That's how I start my tweets.
Yeah. How is everyone?
Good. Yeah, good, thank you.
Also good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Let's talk about some fucking Gippsland.
You sound glad to hear it too.
Let's talk about Gippsland.
Yeah, Gippsland and
the dark.
Yeah, we're doing another topic.
Are we? What was the other topic?
Those stones in France.
Oh, I didn't look at those up at all.
Oh my god!
Right, we're doing Gippsland Panther.
Oh my god!
Did you look up the stones?
We've had 2 weeks.
Sorry, Robbo, did you look up those stones at all?
Yeah.
You did?
I don't have 30 minutes of gear.
No, I looked them up as well. I don't have 30 minutes of gear.
Yeah, all right.
I've got a somewhat amusing mathematician, and that's it. Oh, I've got an Enya song. And now I've just blown up my spot, so I've got less than that now.
All right, shall we just talk about Gippsland then?
The Carnac stones.
Yeah.
Sarnac?
Carnac.
Yeah. In France.
Oh.
Did you see the thing how they point to something, but to get it to point to something, they have to draw like 1,000 random lines?
Oh yeah,
through
is that the mathematician? Yeah.
That's funny.
I also saw they point east to west, north to east, north to south directly. I couldn't really. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about that.
So, are we going to talk about this really shithouse Stonehenge in France?
If you've got some other gear,
like an Aldi Stonehenge,
was it your suggestion? How are you? Not prepared, and now ripping on us for being prepared because it's your suggestion. You put this one in.
All right. Today we're talking about the Carnac stones, the fucking French Stonehenge that everyone loves. We're also going to talk about Gippsland, home of some pretty cool dudes. Robbo, let's start with the Carnac stones. What did you find out?
So these are some stones that are in France.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of them, right?
Yeah, lots of them. There's a few myths around them. Cornelius, known as Corneli in France, legend has it that he was persecuted in Rome for his opposition to animal sacrifice.
Okay. And Joaquin Phoenix much?
Chased by soldiers all the way to the Brittany coast. Trapped, he turned around and changed the pursuers into 3,000 rough-hewn stones that still stand in military rows on a chain of fields.
Who was Cornelius?
I don't know if you noted that down. There are other hypotheses. They're carbon dated to between 4000 and 2000 BC. One is they mark one of Caesar's camps during the Gallic Wars from 58 to 50 BC, or they were snake worship sites for ancient Celts, whose territory included parts of England and Ireland, as well as Brittany. Or maybe they were goblin lairs and fairy treasures.
Whoa.
Oh.
But St. Cornelius works for me. I didn't know down who St. Cornelius was. Some old dude.
Yeah. A saint.
Was against animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they have been analysed. They are
the patron saint of super woke celebrities.
And turning things into stone.
Yeah.
They are that old. And there's this mathematician, Howard Crowhurst. And this guy is like super into ancient mathematics and like huge star alignments and stuff, which all I tried to like find some information about him, and there wasn't really much other than his like cooked books, basically. And like he didn't seem as cooked as other people. And the YouTube he was on is this channel by this guy. His last name's Wilderberger. And I looked him up on Reddit, and people are like, "Oh, Wilderberger is fine. He's not like, while he might do some ancient mathematic gear, he's not actually that cooked." Although one person says he's a notorious crank, and his opinions aren't shared by the vast majority of mathematicians. He claims
2 + 2 is 7.
Yeah, that all of our mathematics are wrong, but has yet to find a concrete verifiable error. I don't think he deserves more attention than the time cube guy. Someone else says, I don't think he's a groundbreaking genius, but I don't think he should be on the street selling pencils in a cup either.
Is that what he's doing?
He isn't, no. So he's got a YouTube channel. And this person was on it he's done a lot of research into these stones. And this person has basically looked at the stones, says they line up with the stars, as you said, drew a whole bunch of triangles and said, they line up with this and that. But he did some of his lining up. He's gone, okay, there's one here and there's one here. I think there's going to be one 400 meters that way.
Yeah.
And he's managed to trace down more. But then he looks at them and goes, see, if you look at the edge of this one, it's in a straight line to that one. I think there's more of that straight line gear when you just line up two arbitrary points and go, oh, look, straight line.
The picture of all these lines I saw looked so chaotic and random. I'm like, no, I did read how you've done this, but I can't see how you've done this. There was all these white lines and then a few red ones.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference? What's the red ones for?
And I think why these people don't get criticised, or there's not much about them, from skeptics or anything, is because they don't really make any claims. They run a lot of, giant Nephilim, place them there, and it's been covered up. They just kind of say, they put them there.
Yeah.
The old-timey people put them there, and they were idiots because they're old-timey.
Yeah. It was just druids. No one really cares about what druids are up to.
Yeah.
We accept that druids were mucking around in the fields around the place. If it doesn't matter if they were putting stones out or whatever.
But they're like, so this guy's like, they line up
berries.
They line up with the solstice, which I think they do.
Something in there points to Stonehenge.
Yeah, something. But like, it's something we've talked about in the past of we can't just assume that people who were people at that time, civilization was starting, they're just idiots. Like, they can't line a thing up with the sun, or they can't point a thing to another thing. Like, they could do that.
Yeah.
It was at the time, like, I think written language was being started in some parts of the world. Copper smelting was happening in some parts of the world. It's reasonable to assume they went, the sun.
I wonder if we could line this up with that big fucking thing in the middle of the sky.
Yeah. And like at this point every year, that seems to be when the sun's highest because we've charted it because we're not idiots. We could draw a little sign in, in some stone or something. You can line it up every year, and it's kind of a cool thing, and we'll have a little party.
Yeah.
Like, this is not unreasonable to think.
And maybe we'll kill someone.
Yeah, there's no evidence of that. Just to make that clear.
All right. I can also make clear that I don't care about celebrities having opinions. But now I want to clarify that point.
Yeah.
I don't care about the topic at all. I'm not angry about it.
Okay. What's that to do with Carnac?
Because I said something before.
About a celebrity.
About something about wokeness. I don't care about it.
Okay. I think when we just ignored it because...
Yeah. No, but that's okay because you can't cancel me. You don't have the right to.
We're not trying to cancel
you're
you.
my mate. I don't want anyone listening. I don't want any enemies listening because I know most of the people listening are friends who won't cancel their mates. But I didn't mean for this clarification to go on this long. I just wanted to retract my statement earlier about whatever the fuck when I said about super woke things. That was just a bit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Cam, are you okay?
Yeah. Let's keep it moving.
I watched another video by I don't know the name down, but she's presenting herself as a legitimate YouTube philosopher, researcher, historian thing.
Okay.
Started off with an Enya song.
Yeah. Anyone's allowed to be a YouTube philosopher.
Yeah. And she said that these have been analysed by scientists, but nonetheless full of mystery.
What Enya song did it start with?
Who say that one?
Oh, yeah.
Not Sail Away.
I know the one.
Yeah. Can we have a few more bars?
No. I can hear it clearly in my head, but to translate an Enya song into voice, being only one person with not even a harp around me, let alone the amount of tracks that Enya was clearly using at the time to create her beautiful soundscapes, is not possible.
Well, and it wouldn't be fair for someone with such an angelic face to also have such an angelic voice.
Well, other than Enya.
Yeah.
She also said it became clear that they had been built centuries before by an ancient civilization unknown, far from being the naked, painted savages who painted their bodies and ate their cousins.
Whoa.
That's the only thing I pulled out of that because I don't know where she got the cousin eating from. What she's saying is the people that put these rocks there, weren't savages because they didn't eat their cousins.
Yeah.
They didn't paint their bodies.
Yeah.
We don't know who did it.
Yeah.
But I don't know who ate their cousins. I tried to look up cousin eating. Just got a lot of Pornhub. So, like, I don't know. She's making these claims about cousin eating naked people.
Well, I mean, there are like other druids or like the woad people. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I'm drawing heavily on Age of Empires 2 right now. There was a bit of like body painting there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Age of Empires 2 ever went into the cousin munching though.
No, it certainly wasn't. There was no animations for it that I saw in the game.
Yeah, they were just gathering wood, mining ore.
So these are cool. I enjoyed looking at the stones. They're all in very straight lines. It's cool. They're kind of in a random field.
Here's my question though: could an ancient civilization put things in a line?
Yes.
Would they be capable of that without modern rulers?
The guy was talking about this other stone thing on this YouTube, and he's like, these giant rocks, and they had to come from this other place far away, and they don't know how they got them there. And the big thing is, there's only a river between the two places. Like, yeah, but they could have worked that out.
Yeah.
And like, I reckon if someone rocks up to your village and he's got a big stone, or she, and says, "Hey, I've got this big bloody stone that I got from this quarry.
Yeah,
good stones in our quarry. You give me some of your wine. We're in France. We'll trade." And then they keep that stone in their village for a while. And then someone else is like, "Oh, let's get more of these stones." And just line them up.
Yeah, should we lay them out just haphazardly, or should we make it look nice?
Yeah.
Was France a big wine-making country in the 1300 BCs? 3000 BCs? Have glass then?
You don't need glass to make wine. Wine is made from grapes, salty.
Yeah, but what bottles would they put them in?
What are they drinking it out of?
Some clay pots?
Yeah, you'd ferment them in amphora or barrels. Probably amphora at the time, clay.
Yeah, and no one was coopering at that time, mate.
Yeah, and then you put that, you scoop it, you ferment them in that, seal it up, take it out, pour it into thing, and have yourself a little party.
3000 BC. Part of me wants to trust your judgment because you're an alco, or you know a lot about it, about being an alco. But
they were smelting copper.
Yeah, smelting copper's not the same as fermenting grapes.
That's chucking a bunch of copper on a fire until it...
Discovery of late Stone Age jugs suggests intentionally fermented beverages existed at least as early as the Neolithic period, 10,000 BC.
Whoa. It's not hard to ferment something. Fermenting's just leaving something out.
Which is what wine is. What do you think wine is? French wine.
Yeah, go on.
French wine originated in BC, 6th century. So a little bit
about 2,400 years old.
Yeah, but okay, fermented whatever, fermented fruit.
Yeah,
fermented some booze.
Just prison wine.
I think I just said they just traded it for some wine as a throwaway thing. I don't know, traded it for some grains then. Traded it for a leather shoe.
Well, just that people trust your judgment on these things, and they should know that they shouldn't.
And they should know that there's someone that's going to pull you up if we think you're out of line.
Yeah, they should know. Imposter syndrome. In this case, you are an imposter.
You're so trustworthy.
Start of the weekend, you've just ruined my weekend. Thanks, Cam.
So trustworthy that we need to make sure that when you say something that's incorrect, people know that it's... Well, no, Robbo made a mistake there. Otherwise, people would be like, fuck, where do I get a bottle of this fucking 3000 BC Pinot?
Yeah. I don't want anyone losing trivia because of you, Robbo.
Well, I mean, I was so vague. They're not going to be like, when did they start fermenting wine? And I don't know, the hypothesis was somewhere between 4 and 5,000 BC. Oh, that might work.
Anyway.
You know how people's brains work? They'll be like, oh, fuck. Robbo made that throwaway comment the other day. That just popped into my mind. I'm glad I listened to that.
Maybe they traded some with the Egypts or the Persians.
The Egypts?
The Egypts.
This motherfucker over here said Egypt.
So Greece was into wine in 2000 BC?
Oh, they got them from the Greases.
The Grecians? It's Grecians. Ancient Rome, not too far.
All right.
Anyway.
That's going to need not cancelling your mates.
That's going to need some judicious editing. My point being, the stone getting there is easily possible. People in old timey weren't dumb. They could line things up. God damn, this episode sucks.
Why does no one care about these?
Because they're not Stonehenge.
Yeah, they're just rocks in a field.
Yeah.
Line up.
The only good thing that came out of Brittany in fucking France is the band Carnac.
Okay.
Jamie McMenemy.
But I mean, he, like wine, wasn't around 4000 BC.
No, he's pretty old though.
No. Britney Spears.
Why did you suggest this, Cam? If the best that you have really given us today is an unrelated story about Joaquin Phoenix, is that his name? And then an explanation about that no one needed, and then the pun on Britney.
I don't know if we should really give it that much credit either.
I was not giving it any credit. Sorry, I don't know if that's what you thought was me giving it credit.
Speaking of, you mentioned the Nephilim before. Did you follow the story from your homeland?
Yes, I did.
Last week?
It's in the news thread, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk about it now, as long as we're talking about Nephilim, and we need to fill out the Carnac business.
Oh my god.
So did you read the story so there's like an archaeological dig in New Zealand?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I like calling that what that was before a pun. Probably calling this an archaeological dig is giving a lot of undeserved credit. Digging a hole under a road.
Yeah. So this is the racist New Zealand group that are like...
Well, because no one knows who this mob are. But definitely the idea of a lot of the people who are looking for pre-Maori civilizations in New Zealand tend to be a little bit racist.
Yeah.
So this mob probably are racist.
And
too.
I think those things, they've sold a convincing enough lie to people that might not be racist to think, oh, there's a mystery here. But then you unpack the people that are really pushing it and they're the racists.
Yeah.
Because people like a mystery.
But these guys are like especially dumb because this is not what are like the pygmy people that were supposed to have been driven out of New Zealand, the Maori.
The Moriori?
Yeah. Which that's also been basically proven to be a complete myth, right?
They existed.
Yeah, but the Maori didn't kill them off.
No, how they've been presented historically in New Zealand is completely wrong.
So this isn't that even. This is the idea that there was a race of giants that lived in New Zealand before the Maori. It's like if you're a Nazi in New Zealand, you're like, my end game is to like delegitimize the Maori claim to Aotearoa. I don't know if I'd go with there were giants that roamed the lands.
Well, there is that theory of the race of people that lived like the wood nymphs or elves or whatever that people claim were part of a Māori tribe that had ginger hair and fair skin and blue eyes. which I think that theory has been pushed by racists to say, oh, there's a link to whatever. So I think there is some connection to that as well.
Because I think the problem here for the Nazis is that some Nazis are like, that there was like an ancient race of Aryan giants, and they're not helping themselves if they want to do like a land claim down the track. So there's this farm.
They found a moa bone.
Yeah, so there's this farm in New Zealand that has a road going through it, and they've started digging under it because they reckon there's like giant skeletons down there. And they're like, we've got permission from the landowner, and the landowner's like, they absolutely do not have any permission from me. I didn't know they were there digging a hole under my road, which, by the way, I don't appreciate. And yeah, they found some bones, and they're like, this is clearly the bone of a giant, and like, obviously the government wants to cover all this up, so they're like, no, that's a moa bone. Very clearly, look at this other moa bone; they're identical.
Yeah, moa's very big.
Anyway, they've wrapped it up, I think.
Yeah, they stopped, but they put a
they've put a Reiki protection over it.
Yeah, so I think they were caught out, or people started losing interest, or they were losing fun. So I don't know how the news even picked it up. Maybe they told the news they'd stopped, or the farmer blabbed. But yeah, they put a Reiki protection over it, which I don't think my understanding of Reiki is not what you can do in Reiki is put protections on things with a spell. It might be a type of Reiki I'm not familiar with.
I thought it was just a Healy thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking it up. You can put Reiki shields on things.
Okay, so that's what they've done.
And I was looking at like a Reiki like how-to guide for how to put up a shield, and it's all about visualizing the shield as a big part of it. But they also instructed that one way that you could help construct your personal protection shield is when you put it up, you visualize a shield sort of surrounding you, your aura hardening, and while you're doing that, you say, "Shields up!"
Really?
Whoa. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Like on a bloody starship.
So, like, let's just say that you're on the train, as a crowded train, and so there's, obviously there's the threat of energy vampires, etc. All around you. People could be sucking up your aura's power. All you've got to do,
shields up.
Let's go, shields up, and I think you'll find that people sort of start to move away from you.
Yeah,
it's good advice.
Shields up, red alert.
Yeah,
you won't be so crowded on the train anymore.
That might be a good thing if you're on the dance floor and you want some room to cut your moves.
Yeah, to pop and lock.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, these people are crowding me on the dance floor. It's too crowded in the club tonight. Shields up. Okay. You'd have to probably yell it to each person around you just so they know.
Yeah, shields are up.
The other thing that kind of just reminds me of the superhero stance that they teach in like corporate self-help things, where standing.
Why have you gone to corporate self-help?
It's just one of those things I know.
All right,
I've been to corporate thingos, management courses, and this is a mainstream theory here.
Okay, tell us about the superhero stance. Are you doing it now?
Yeah, standing with your arms on your hips and your
like
chest
Superman.
out.
Yeah,
like a superhero.
Well, like Superman. I don't know if they all do that.
No, I think as a superhero, you cape blowing in the wind.
Batman's a fucking bit of a hip.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Weird thing to get pedantic about.
All right, go on. I don't know if you've listened to this podcast before. Go on.
I unfortunately I have.
Go on.
That will actually have a change on your mindset, and there'll be actually a physical change in your brain when you do that, and you'll be more confident and more positive about the day.
Is the idea that you do that, like you just do it a little bit yourself in the mirror or something, and then you go into work?
Yeah.
Don't do it in front of people.
Stand around at work, fucking.
I mean,
hands on your hips.
I feel like there's managers that would do that.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that power of positive thinking, which has been shown to have an impact on your brain, if you were to say, you're going out on the day and you're feeling a little bit bad, feeling a little bit down, get some Reiki energy, visualize a shield and say, shields up! You're going to be ready for the day. No one can poke you.
I feel Robbo's going to need some bloody Reiki shields up on this house soon with those pair of shoes on the table out there. Like classic bad luck.
What?
Shoes some Reiki shields up to protect you from the bad luck you're going to get from having your shoes on the table.
There's an old pair of running shoes on the outside table. That's what Salty's referring to for the listener.
No wonder shit keeps breaking in here and I keep falling over, hurting myself.
What are you talking about? The shoes on a table, bad luck?
It's bad feng shui, mate.
Huh. It's outside. It's okay.
I don't know if that's how it works.
I think it's worse, actually.
No, it's better.
Alrighty. So that's the Carnac. Shall we take a little break and come back with some Gippsland?
You better have some gear.
Yeah.
I got some gear, don't worry.
Wow.
And we're back. Gippsland Panther, Cam.
100 million years ago, when wood turned into coal, we know. People of the sun, the soil around the fire, they once toiled. The people of the Gunai are Moe, they still live and die. Eh, Moe? It's time for some Moe chat. Bit of Gippsland.
What was that song you were doing?
It was Moe Man by the Bulla Bulla Band.
Okay.
But I forgot about the bit about the dinosaurs. 100 million years ago, when wood turned into coal, we know. When dinosaurs roamed the land, their footprints in the river sand. I don't know if there were dinosaurs in Moe.
Why not?
I don't know.
Dinosaurs everywhere.
I don't know if we need to forensically analyse the Bulla Bulla Band's lyrics, though.
You're doing it.
Anyway.
Gippsland Panther.
Talking about Gippsland. Just about Gippsland and the Panther.
Yeah, so the topic was Gippsland Panther, but you decided
that
you'd look up the Gippsland ghost.
I thought I'd look up about whether there are any ghosts in Gippsland.
Other Gippslandy things.
Yeah. Maybe in case, maybe this is why we always see the Panthers running around, because they're getting spooked.
You're really on thin ice today, Cam. I'm not going to lie.
So when I looked up about Gippsland ghosts, I found sort of two things.
You didn't think to tell us to look up Gippsland ghosts?
I told you.
He did say.
Like an hour before we started recording.
Yeah. To be fair, it was very close to coming here.
Yeah.
So the first thing I discovered was that there were ghost tours at Old Gippstown. Have you ever been to Old Gippstown?
No.
I think they might have changed the name.
You know, I've got a whole book on Australian ghosts, and I'm sure there are Gippsland ghost gear in it. Would have loved to have had time to research.
I doubt there would be any of this Old Gippstown gear in it. It was
talking shit about your book?
I know.
No, I'm talking shit about these ghosts. I'm saying the book is too high quality for these dodgy ghosts. So Old Gippstown is like this little heritage park in Moe. It's directly next to the Moe McDonald's on the freeway. If you're ever travelling through, something to avoid.
The Moe McDonald's or the old whatever that was?
Well, you should avoid the Moe McDonald's because it's not healthy for you. But you should turn left at the Moe McDonald's and go a little bit up the road, and you can check out the Moe Lions Football Club clubhouse, which has fallen into disrepair because they used to be they had a bar and everyone loved to drink there. And then they were like, I don't know if it's someone was like, I don't know if it's great for us to be a football club and to also have a bar. It's like, it's not a bad look for the kids.
That's like every
football club.
Yeah.
So, and I can see there is argument around binge drinking in football clubs. Being a part of it, I understand how it works. It's not great, but I don't think that means we should change social spaces.
No. And how much of a football club's revenue comes from their bar?
Very, very much.
Yeah.
So I think the way they sort of compromised was that they kept the bar, but they started to enforce rules and things and not serve people alcohol when they were already intoxicated. Following
the law.
RSA, and then as a result, people stopped going there. They're like, why would I go here when I could go to the pub and where they don't enforce the law?
If I can't get maggot down Lions, I'll fucking get maggot somewhere else.
And so the whole thing just fell apart. And I think
there's no football club anymore.
I don't know if the club's gone, but their clubhouse is a little bit worse. And there's a little motel there as well, just a little one room accommodation out the back.
If the walls could talk.
Well, you can go in and check it out because everything's open. If you set a fire, you'd probably help someone out.
So what, sorry?
If you wanted to set a little fire, if you're a little firebug, you could probably help someone out with some insurance.
Right.
Right. Let's not set fires out in Gippsland, though. They've had a fucking rough
that's
trot.
not a good suggestion.
It's nowhere near the bush. It's fine. Anyway, so between the Moe Lions Club and the Moe McDonald's, just to situate it, because I know that everyone knows where those things are.
Yeah.
Just quickly speaking on rural soccer clubs.
Sure.
Well, it's got a lot of soccer clubs for the size of the town.
How many soccer clubs has it?
I'm trying to think. There's there's Westlands, Croatia, Lions, Wanderers, Steel City. I think there's one other one. Maybe 6.
Steel City is a good name for a soccer club.
Especially in a Steel City.
Yeah. How many roller hockey teams do they have now?
Now, probably none.
Damn shame.
Back in the day, they have fucking 2 leagues.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, no.
90s.
Come on.
And
also a lot of football clubs. About the same amount of AFL clubs.
Oh, yeah. It's good to know that regional sport's thriving. Regional sport's important for communities.
Yep.
Yeah. So for the niche audience that knows where the Moe McDonald's is and knows where the Moe Lions Football Club is,
but that doesn't
know where Old Gippsland is. Old Gippsland is between those 2 locations, and it's like a bunch of old-timey buildings.
Yeah.
I think that...
it's like a shanty town.
Little heritage village.
It's not a shanty town. Yeah, it's like a little heritage village, but I don't think any of it was... It's not like an old village that has been maintained for tourism purposes. They've either built them as old-timey buildings,
right,
or they've brought them in from somewhere. I think more likely they were built fresh. However...
It's like that castle. It's
Cryle Castle.
Modern concrete slabs or something.
Yeah. I think Old Gippsland, though, has been around for long enough that you could almost say it's old-timey just by virtue of how long it's been there. I think, unfortunately, for the children of Moe, probably they're very familiar with it from, I'd imagine, annual school excursions.
Right.
So we had one in New Zealand near me called Shantytown.
Oh.
And I thought that also Shantytown was just a generic name for that kind of attraction.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, you go and get your head in the stocks. You get put in jail for a bit. Hang on. Sorry, that was just when I got arrested in the 18th century. Sorry.
Sorry. Old Gippsland, it's a bunch of old buildings. They've got an old pub, an old church.
Yeah.
I don't think they go... It's not as high class as that thing out in Ballarat, Blood Under the Southern Cross, and they have a similar setup out there.
Well, that's a big, don't they have a 3D light show or something at that one?
Yeah, that's the Blood Under the Southern Cross thing.
Yeah.
But whatever that place is called, you can go stay the night in an old-timey place and you all dress up and you have your photo taken with a guy under a hood and things. You know what I'm talking about?
Up until the guy under the hood. See the
old style photo.
Oh, the guy's taking the photo. Yeah. You said you get your photo taken with the guy under the hood.
Yeah. I thought you were next to a bloke who's been hung.
Yeah, or a guy like a KKK member, or someone that's going to cut someone's head off with a guillotine.
Executioner.
That one.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not as high class as that. I think it's just you go for a few hours and you walk around and you're like, oh, this is a bit shit. I think they might do a thing at Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, they started doing ghost tours there. It was a mob from Melbourne.
City folk.
City folk going out to the country to do ghost tours. But they're like, they were talking about all of the ghosts that were there. I'm like, where are these ghosts coming from?
So you did this tour?
No, I didn't do it. In my research, when I was preparing judiciously for this podcast, I did a lot of research. And one of the things I researched was these ghost tours.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's all of these ghosts. So they were asked, are any of them bad ghosts?
Naughty ghosts.
I think they're like, are there any negative spirits? They're like, they were a bit coy about this. They're like, there aren't negative spirits. There's just crotchety old ghosts that are products of their time. I think what they're saying is they were racist ghosts.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, yeah, it's just how things were back then.
But it's their explanation was that, the ghosts were attached to the buildings themselves. And so when the buildings were moved to Old Gippsland, I can't say with 100% certainty that it wasn't a little mining town on the edge of Moe that was actually from the 1800s or whatever. But I don't think it was. But, I think the ghosts have come there was sort of the implication. And they also said when they're doing the ghost tours, sometimes the ghosts are there, ghosts that have followed the tourists in.
Right.
And so then, if that's the case, they sort of take the tourists off to the side and tell them the message from the other side that is being imparted to them.
I thought you would take them aside and be like, fucking take these ghosts with you.
Yeah, we've got enough ghosts already. Anyway, that's Old Gippstown.
Do you want to hear a review from old Gippsland. It looks to be mostly positive on the Google reviews,
Yeah,
to
so
be fair.
Have you just gone down to the 1-stars?
Of course.
Lay at a super negative. Somebody's had a real bad time at old Gippsland.
Look, it's not negative. I don't want to judge anyone's lifestyle. It needs to be comment. This is
one of those ones where there's just heaps of fucking bees there all the time. What was that face?
Can I just say before you say this, my one memory of old Gippsland, now that I think about it, is someone having like their prescription sunglasses stolen from them.
Right.
And they're like, what are they going to do with them? They're prescription. I remember that sort of clearly, but I don't remember anything else.
Okay.
So I'm just hoping that this review is like, I had my prescription sunglasses stolen. Or someone else even saying, I found some prescription sunglasses. I tried to turn them into lost and found.
And they were rude about it?
Yeah.
Look, I bet Eden Leah, who left this review 2 years ago, would love to not have her glasses because she saw filthy men doing filthy things in the toilets. Response from the owner. Hi, Eden. As per our follow-up conversation, so she had raised it to her attention and she still wanted to bloody get her piece out on the internet.
Yeah.
These are not the park's toilets as they are a public facility outside the park's ground.
I was going to say that.
We were deeply disturbed to hear of this happening. We have followed this up with all appropriate avenues to ensure it doesn't happen again and have it investigated and further. Kind regards, old Gippsland team.
They're making, they've changed it to old Gippsland or whatever. It used to be old Gippstown.
A few other people complain that the cafe is sometimes closed when they go there.
So they're saying that the blokes are getting it on, not in their toilets, in the
public toilets. And that's what I was going to say, actually.
Do they have their own toilets?
I would think so, but yeah, there are sort of public toilets just outside. And that's where I thought she was talking about. And I was going to say, that's not really their responsibility. But then, now that they've said we've followed it up and made sure it'll never happen again, I'm thinking, that's a promise you can't keep because sometimes dudes just want to get sucked off or to suck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be hand stuff. We do not know.
Yeah.
Could have been full penetration. We do not know.
Yeah. But you can't just stop it. You can't police everywhere.
No.
It's like backburning. You've got these people who say we need to backburn everything. You can't burn the whole forest down to stop it from catching on fire.
Yeah.
The same thing is you can't, I don't know.
Why are we talking about backburning?
Because I said it before.
Because they can't police all the toilets.
Yeah, you can't police every toilet.
So I'm curious to know how well trafficked this is now. Because the way you described it, Cam, between the McDonald's that's on the highway.
So, yeah, okay, right.
And then the footy club, which is clearly, footy clubs need a bit of space. And then there's this old towny thing. So I'm not imagining much traffic there. Is this a known place, a known hangout if you were driving along the highway?
Looking for a random encounter.
Yeah, other men are going to be going into this spot. This is a known beat, as they call them. Do you think?
Oh, we're talking about...
Or is it well-trafficked enough that just two men might have been in there and went, hey, while we're here...
Are we talking about old Gippsland or all the toilets?
The toilets.
The toilets. This podcast episode is now about those toilets.
No, I think it'd be a good beat. Yeah, it's just off the highway.
Okay.
And it's right off it.
So it's not that far. It's quite far from the old Gippsland town then.
No, old Gippsland town is right next to the highway as well.
Okay.
As is the football club. They're all right next to the highway. These are like neighbours.
Yeah, I was picturing turning down a road.
No, this is... Yeah, no. It's off the highway. You've got to take the off-ramp.
So what we've learned is...
But the beauty of it is that, take care of all of your needs and then you can replenish your energy with a nice bloody Whopper or whatever they sell at McDonald's.
They don't sell Whoppers at McDonald's.
Whopper.
They don't. The reviews for the cafe and the old Gippsland town, pretty much overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
One person didn't like a sausage roll. It was Cornish pasty, sorry. Said it was
dry,
microwaved.
Oh,
and they're like,
you don't want to fucking microwave Cornish pasty.
Well, they're like, we do not
soggy.
We don't microwave our pastries, so like.
Was that the response?
Yeah.
Well, then what happened?
Hard to say. All right.
I'd almost suggest that if you've got a soggy Cornish pasty, I'd want to hear that it was microwaved. I don't want to hear that you didn't microwave this soggy pasty.
Had a bloody delicious Cornish pasty in Burra in South Australia.
Yeah. Cornish pasty, nice. I don't think I like. There's too many peas for my liking. Is that the hallmark of a Cornish pasty?
No, the hallmark is how the pastry's done.
I think there's going to be a P in there somewhere.
Probably.
So
call them pasties in New Zealand.
If we can just move slightly east of Maui now, to a different region known as the Haunted Hills.
How long have we been recording?
14 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Feels like a fucking lifetime.
So yeah, this was the other thing I found when I was looking up Gippsland ghosts, and this sort of does also relate to big cats. So there is an area called the Haunted Hills, which I did know about already, because that's where the Gippsland FM transmitter is.
Okay. Hang on, and they're officially called the Haunted Hills.
Their official name is the Haunted Hills. Nobody quite knows why they're called the Haunted Hills. The first record of them being called that I found on this person's website. I think it's called Odd Australia. 1866. They were talking about putting a railway line through, and but the hills were bloody haunted. But they still did it. The hills are quite steep.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite well treed. They're quite shadowy. And as we've discussed, the shadows out in Gippsland are something else. So we're talking about Gippsland dark up in these hills.
Well, yeah, but hang on. If it's Gippsland dark, where it's, as we acknowledged, the darkest thing in the world, darker than Vanta Black and Black 2.0,
yeah,
the shadows will be non-existent.
This is a good point.
Are you saying when the sunshine is shining, the shadows cast are also Gippsland dark?
Yeah.
Okay.
The point is, it's quite dark, and I think this is part of where the idea of Gippsland being especially dark comes from, is that they've got these creepy hills smack bang in the middle of it.
Is that an idea?
Hills also that are called Haunted Hills.
Is it just something that we made up on the podcast and have run with, that Gippsland is exceptionally dark?
I can't remember. I feel like Gippsland is quite dark. Sometimes you're driving through the back roads of Gippsland and you're like, this could do with a little bit of lighting.
Don't forget, you can pick up a proper Gippsland dark t-shirt on the our merch page, cookedunits.com.
Oh, yeah. So, some of the theories about why the hills are haunted. There is an issue in the hills where cattle don't like them at all. They get spooked and they stampede. There was a big problem with cattle stampeding in the hills. And there were some explanations for that. One of which was that maybe there were moonshiners.
Oh, yeah.
People were brewing up some moonshine in the hills, and so they wanted to discourage people from bringing their cattle through, so they'd give them a bit of a fright. Now that theory sort of falls apart because, as some people noted, wouldn't that just invite an investigation into why the cattle was being spooked, and then that would, ruin the whole point of it? A counterfeiter did get caught out there, and they thought maybe this counterfeiter was like spooking the cattle for that same reason. But apparently he was just sort of getting started as a counterfeiter, so he probably wasn't at the cattle scaring stage that all counterfeiters go through. One of the other explanations, though, was that there was possibly a coal seam that went under the hills. So it's right next to where the Yulon open cut is now. And the idea was that this coal seam had burnt out because, they can catch on fire underground. The whole thing had burnt up. And so there was this big sort of hollow under the ground. So when the cattle go over it, they hear all of this sort of echoing coming up from under the ground. And it freaks them out. And so they'd stampede. But this person couldn't find any sort of information about there actually being a coal seam there at all.
Right.
But that was what people thought at the time anyway. But there was also, before white settlement, apparently the local indigenous people avoided the area. And so that sort of also added to that air of mystery when there was white invasion. These people we're killing don't seem to like this area. So I'm sure they have their reasons. Let's not ask them. Let's just kill them.
Just quickly on that as an aside, when I Googled Gippsland Dark to find out where it came from, whether it's something we just made up, one of the very top result was Gippsland Massacres. And there's a Wikipedia page detailing all the massacres of the First Nations people here in Australia. And it's grim reading. Very grim reading.
Cool.
Jesus Christ.
So good stuff for our comedy podcast?
Yeah. Well, I think we should acknowledge how grim things were for our First Nations people.
So is this one of those things that's come around by racist means, and they mean that there was a lot of black people?
Potentially. Not on our podcast, though.
Gippsland dark is just because I said it was very dark in Gippsland. You're like, is it darker than other places? I doubled down on it.
Yeah. We just made it up.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cam didn't subconsciously come up with something racist.
So also there was possibly like underground streams which would cause noises to sort of come up from the ground. So sometimes it sounded like there were cows under the ground sort of walking through, but it could have just been a stream. Anyway, I have a story from the Haunted Hills. This comes from the Traralgon Record from October 12, 1915. And what I really loved about this one,
I've got this one here as well.
I think we're going to get into some old newspaper articles now. And what I really loved looking at old newspaper articles about this was that, in the modern day, in the year 2020,
I'm aware of it.
When we can't cancel our mates.
Agreed.
Or shouldn't. It's so easy for like a journalist to just slag someone off. You just dial up your CMS, knock out a few paras, bold, headline, hit go. It's up on the web. Everyone's like, oh yeah, what a dickhead.
No. Yeah. Unless you're Andrew Bolt. I think Andrew Bolt's allowed to do that for some ungodly known reason. No one else is, but okay.
Yeah, but that's sort of...
That's how you think journalism works in 2020.
That's how journalism works in 2020. You just got your tweet deck open on the question, can I have permission to use this photo? And then you just take whatever stories the other journalists are looking at. So that's the modern day. But back in 1915, if you wanted to slag off some dipshit farmer, you really had to go to some ethics. You had to typewrite it out and then set the print and then roll the presses. So from the Traralgon Record, October 12, 1915, and note that some effort then went into this. The article, Lioness in the Haunted Hills. The name of Haunted Hills suggests something uncanny, and it is only natural to expect the place to be the abode of spooks and things not seen every day. Various stories are related with regard to the naming of Haunted Hills, and some tall but interesting yarns on the subject are told about blackfellows, drovers, and weird things that are said to be responsible for the name. But we never heard until the past few days that the said hills, in addition to being the home of bunyips, dragons, unicorns, etc., are also the haunts of lions. And if anyone doubts the assertion, they have simply to ask Mr. Horrid Brinsmead of Driffield, who vouches for the truth of the statement. What a fucking idiot is the tone I feel of that. So on a Saturday morning last, Mr. Brinmead was out mustering cattle on the Haunted Hills and had just crossed a deep ravine in Mr. Witt's paddock, about 5 miles from Morwell, when his attention was drawn to a spot where there was a great corroboree among a number of magpies that were kicking up a great shindy. He was at a loss to account for the aerial display by the birds until he saw a yellowish-looking animal suddenly emerge at a distance of about 50 yards from him, and to his amazement found it to be a lioness stalking through some low scrub. At the same time, the horse Mr. Brinsmead was riding commenced to bolt off in the opposite direction, and he could not force it to go a yard further in the direction of the strange beast, who sees a lion or a lioness, and it's like, oh, let's ride our horses towards it. This idiot.
Yeah.
The animal moved along something like a huge cat and disappeared into a dense belt of scrub and has not been seen since. Mr. Brinsmead states that there are no end of dead sheep in the locality, the majority being nearly all devoured, which he attributes to the lioness. He is very positive about the animal he saw being a lioness and reminded doubters that he was only about 50 yards off the beast and knew a lion from a fox, a dog, or any other quadruped, and he is prepared to put up £10 that the animal he saw was a lioness. A party went out with dogs and rifles on Tuesday, and another band of hunters is being organised out to go tomorrow, when it is proposed to beard the lion in his den.
For all your...
So if you want to make £10...
For all your hype of this journalism integrity, I will note for the entirety of the story, they were calling it a lioness.
And at the end, they misgendered it.
Yes.
It was a different time, Robbo.
Just a little follow-up from the year later in the Hayfield Herald. Mr. H. Curtis, a commercial traveller while on a visit to Morwell district quite recently, and travelling on a motorcycle on a road near the haunted hill, was greatly surprised when mending a puncture to see a wild animal which he took to be a deerhound making towards him. Luckily, he had just finished mending the puncture and quickly mounted his machine and rode off. Mr. Curtis had previously heard of a wild animal killing sheep in the district, and on one occasion attacking a man on horseback. Possibly the hound seen by Mr. Curtis was what caused the lion scare. But this is 1916. Let me take us back to 1906 and the Bendigo Advertiser.
Oh, yeah, still around, that paper.
Yeah. You know what I'd say to them? Stay in your lane.
1906. This is not necessarily about that region, but Victoria in general. A menagerie disposed of. So 1906, the 14th of November, there was a circus and menagerie was sold off at an auction. And there were a lot of funky animals sold to just general Victorians in 1906. This bloke from the Melbourne Zoological Gardens purchased a few birds for like £2. He also invested in a sloth bear at the low figure of £3. After some spirited bidding, he secured a group of 4 performing lions, Caesar, Nero, Empress, and Princess, for £180. So in 1906, some bloke bought 4 lions from a circus. And then...
kept good care of them.
Well, yeah, you know, who knows what happened to them, really. But then in 1913, another circus was sold in Melbourne.
Why could the circus industry not sustain itself?
People are just offloading circuses everywhere.
Well, actually, it sounds like the circus industry was saturated.
Yeah. Too many circuses.
But, you know, 1906 and 1913, and then in 1915, people reckon they're seeing lions roaming around in the hills.
Yeah.
Have these blokes just let their lions go?
Can I just a little circus shoey? I was once
on this episode?
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
I was once making an ad for a circus, and the ringmaster.
It's weird they don't normally let the clowns make the ads.
So he went to work in his little car with 15 other clowns in the back.
So whoever this guy, like the circus owner, had come in to, I don't know, check the ad or do a voiceover or something. And he was talking to me about there'd been some sort of big circus scandal that had just happened, like some animal cruelty, which I think is the main sort of circus scandal. And he was complaining about it because he's like, you know, the RSPCA love this. Every time there's one of these stories, you know, they rake in all these donations. It's like, yeah, I guess that's just how it works. If you're going to mistreat the animals when there's publicity about it, people feel like they should donate. It was like, are you suggesting that the RSPCA is somehow responsible for this circus misbehaving? That was a early little conspiracy theory for Cam to hear about.
What does a circus owner circa 2000 in Australia look like?
Mid-2000s, I cannot remember. I have no memory of it.
That's a shame. Salty?
There's been a lot of bongs between now and
There's another story in 1918.
That's just a joke, Mum. I hope Mum's not listening at this point in the podcast.
There's no way anyone is.
There's another story from 1918 in the Gippsland Farmers Journal, talking about this is more about crazy animals that were sold in Australia back in those days. So apparently, couple of blokes, three blokes, they were an enterprising trio.
Sure, is that what it says?
Yep. While one was on a trip to Launceston, says a bulletin contributor, he purchased an elephant that some speculative sailormen had imported from Ceylon, now Sri Lanka.
Yep.
And in due course, The brute was landed at Port Albert after making himself useful for some years as a farm labourer. So they put this elephant to use as a farm labourer and then brought it over to the mainland.
Fair enough.
And I think that it's hard to read because it's a bit fucked up, the text, but I think they're trying to link that to also having killed animals. A big elephant roaming around.
See, I feel like the Gippsland elephant would be good.
Yeah.
You got more?
1933. Mystery beast at Gunya, like a lioness. Mystery of an unknown animal said to have been in different parts of Gippsland range during the past 12 months have deepened. I'm not gonna go through read these. I'm just gonna go through the years and what was being reported. Mystery beast, like a lioness. That was in the Gippsland Times. The Townsville Daily Bulletin reported.
Stay out of it again.
About people clearing bracken noticed a large strange animal cross the track into a forest area 300 yards away with a head like a cat. Had a distinct wobble. Yesterday afternoon, 2 townsmen armed with rifles spent about 4 hours beating through the forest looking for the mystery beast without any sign. Early yesterday, a resident heard the roar of a strange animal coming from the forest area. Spent the day searching for it without success.
What do these people not have anything to do?
Yeah. 1933, December. Mystery animal roaming around Gippsland. Reports confirmed. This is in Cairns Post. Confirmation of reports that a large animal resembling a tiger or jaguar is roaming around Gippsland is provided in a message received by the Chief Inspector of the Fisheries and Game Department from the Brigalow Inspector, who reported that footprints 6 inches long and 4 inches wide had been seen. No native animal makes marks of this kind, nor makes a stride of 4 feet.
Why are all these Queensland papers reporting this news?
Oh, maybe this is all that's been archived. In one place, the animal had jumped 9 feet across the gully. 2 girls saw the animal's head and shoulders. They described them as tawny-coloured with dark stripes. This one... So, the Hobart Mercury, 1934, 3rd of February. After many weeks, the mystery animal of Gippsland has run to earth. His tracks have been diversely described as those of a tiger, a super dingo, and a panther. A few weeks ago, the inhabitants of one township thought they had him, seeing an unusual tracks in the banks of a flooded creek. Turned out to be a man with every kind of weapon available. After some excellent tracking, they ran down the fearsome beast, which proved to be the local postman who had been forced to abandon his boots in the adhesive mud brought down by the floodwaters. The postie was annoyed and said so. So they've seen these footprints in the mud and gone, there's the tiger. Tracked them, and it's just the postie who lost his boots in the mud.
Poor bloke.
After some trouble and a fight, but then it's remained for a constable of the Wireless Patrol who was on the shooting expedition in the hills near Druin to clear up the mystery. After some trouble and a fight in which one of his dogs was severely clawed, he has brought to Melbourne and lodged in the Zoological Gardens today something very special in the way of wombats. Apart from his phenomenal size, this wombat has feet formed like no other wombat the curator of the zoo has yet seen. The zoo has yet... the impression being about as large as a man's hand. According to the latest reports, he is industriously trying to eat his way through an iron fence enclosure. So they caught a giant wombat when was that? 1934.
That's pretty cool. I like wombats.
The Barrier Miner in Broken Hill also commented on the giant wombat. And then 1934, giant wombat and platypus die.
Oh no.
So
Who was the platypus? Were they like friends?
I think it was just a massive platypus they found. A half-grown platypus got taken there. But yeah, the giant wombat, which they thought was the Gippsland monster, died in the zoo. But then...
Did they give it a name?
Don't we all?
Don't know. 23rd of June 1934, Gippsland tiger again.
Hey, just a quick thing. That's why people in the old times never went viral. If they had given it a name, it would have been viral.
Yeah.
Big chonker.
Yeah. Wombat face.
Yeah, it would have been viral. Cinderblock.
No,
You across Cinderblock, the cat that's trying to lose weight?
Oh, yeah.
On Instagram? It's good.
Cat.
Yeah.
They just keep calling it the Wombat.
Lame. Go viral.
Yeah. So
is that the secret to going viral?
Yes.
It's
our secret to going viral.
How you send all your content viral?
Is this a criticism of my unviral content?
No, I'm not criticising it. I'm saying...
Carry on, Salty.
I was going to compliment you on your integrity.
Thank you.
So this is in June that year, after the wombat died. Someone saw some kangaroos and wallabies bounding across the road. A few seconds later, a tiger, in quotes, crashed through the brush and crossed the road. It resembled a tiger in every way, Mr. Morris said. A large wombat said to be the Gippsland tiger was captured some time ago and sent to the zoo where it died. So they've gone, nah, we got it. It was a wombat. This bloke's, nah, tiger's still there. Gippsland tiger again on the prowl, keeps pace with car.
Oh, that's pretty good.
1934, same day. This is in
But
Courier
not
Mail.
just some kid imagining a little tiger running next to the car on a long road trip.
The truth.
Is that what you used to do, Cam?
No, imagine a little bloke running along next to the car.
Little Shrek.
Little Shrek.
It's funnier though. Think of a little Shrek instead. Carry on.
Remember the paper The Truth?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah. The Truth in 1934, 24th of June. Queer beast again.
Different time.
Either panther or tiger. Yesterday, the big game season has opened again in Gippsland. The township of Traralgon is astir, and settlers are finding guns comforting bedfellows. It needs to be said in that old-timey radio voice.
I like that.
The big game season's opened again in Gippsland.
That's actually good.
The township of Traralgon is astir, and settlers are finding guns comforting bedfellows.
I like that spin that they're like, yes, there is a lion or a tiger here, but that does mean, folks, it's big game season.
It's also time to snuggle with your gun.
The one thing Ripley didn't see in Australia was the Traralgon tiger, which is popularly supported to have its lair in the something ranges. Is that Ripley, like of Ripley's Believe It or Not?
I think that's what I say.
When Ripley was here, he didn't see that tiger.
He's like, I can't give a decision.
No.
And I can't tell you if I believe it or not until I see it.
Yeah. So 1934, Gippsland tiger shot. Was a crossbreed domestic dog. So I don't know whether that was possibly that wolfhound or hound that guy, deerhound that guy seen. Gippsland Times, 1934 in October. It has pups now.
The headline, it has pups now.
Mystery animal again. More residents fined.
Hang on. So the story is that it has pups. So what this story actually is remember the big cat of Gippsland. Now we've seen some small cats.
Yeah, little ones.
If you can imagine such a thing.
Nah.
Now, what could the explanation for small cats be? Well, they're the children of a big cat.
So about 2 months ago, Mr. W. Dono of Moe shot a mystery animal of the dog type, which may have been some relation to the Tangil Terror. About a week ago in the same locality, which is near the old Moe Walhalla Road and is heavily timbered, Mr. W. Beck observed an animal of similar type disappear into the bush again. And they started searching again. They found a hole that they think it went into. They blocked it up.
No, they did come up with a viral name for it, the Tangil Terror.
Yeah, see, this is about the time when things are going to get spicy.
1935, bush tiger again.
Yeah, see?
1935, fearsome monsters, Victoria in spotlight. This one talks about
some great deals on fabric.
Victoria appears to be in the danger of being overrun with fearsome monsters unknown to science unless something is done about it soon. This is from the Cairns Post. Hard on the heels of the news of the reappearance of the Barwon Heads sea serpent near Queenscliff comes a report from Aries Inlet of the appearance of a sea monster which appears to be younger and smaller relative of the creature seen at Queenscliff. And then Gippsland, talking about another mystery animal. This one, I just put in there for you, Cam. I thought you might have found that interesting.
New development. Oh, okay. What's going on? Yeah, no, that's not on. It's about Nazis.
That's news from when they were fucking legit Nazis.
Yeah. Okay. The modern Nazis are also not good, but these Nazis they are the worst Nazis.
These ones. Yeah. That was like the next article in the paper next to the one about sea serpents.
It's all going on.
1935, Brigalong's mystery animal. Hunters receive a scare. The Argus. Gippsland tiger mystery is mystery no longer. Brigadong killer believed to be a large dingo. 1937, mystery animal said to be a large dog.
Seems like they'd worked it out.
1937. 1940, there's that panther again.
Oh.
There's that savage
There's that
panther
savage
again.
panther again. A big black panther was seen by a man about 25 miles from Melbourne on Thursday. Usually it's a tiger. Mythical panthers and tigers have been reported in Australia ever since the first days of colonisation. But the ferocious Tantaluna tiger turned out to be a calf.
Oh, we didn't see that update.
The Colac tiger was shot and was found to be a pig. The Riverina tiger was a large wild dog.
Mm-hmm.
There have been numerous others. Australia's nearest approach to a tiger is the marsupial Tasmanian tiger, which is hardly an approach at all. The first mainland report of a tiger came from Western Australia in 1705, 65 years before Captain Cook came to Botany Bay.
I feel like the first half of this episode was all about how people in the olden days were, not as dumb as we think. And the second half of this episode is all about, no, actually, they were pretty dumb.
I mean, this is...
I saw a tiger. Are you sure you didn't see a pig?
This is colonial Australians, though.
True.
So this is saying, even before that, mystery animals had been reported. When the Dutch landed on Forestier Peninsula in 1642, they found toe holds cut at wide intervals in the gum trees. They believed giants had cut them. The Dutch also reported tiger tracks.
Giants.
The word was cut off, but I realised
okay,
it just says giants.
Yeah, again, some dumb people.
Dutch. Very smart race of people.
Then there's stuff about people reporting... about 94 years ago, the skull of a bunyip was found on the banks of the Murrumbidgee River and eagerly sent to London for expert opinion. The great anatomist Owen said it was the head of a deformed foal.
Yeah. Oh. Another fucking bunyip skull.
Sometimes the bunyip was described as half man, half fish. Well, that's a merman.
Idiot.
Sometimes it was as big as a bullock. Occasionally it was merely the size of a retriever dog. That was a retriever dog. Almost always it made a loud booming noise. The last report was about 15 years ago from the Haunted Hills near Melbourne.
Oh, as we discussed.
Yeah.
When an investigating naturalist found that harmless koalas were responsible for this noise. Have you heard of a male koala rutting?
Yes.
It is insane.
There was a viral video of a koala recently.
Yeah.
Is that the noise they make when they're rutting?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not the noise they make normally.
Yeah, bloke koalas, if there's like a chick around and they're like a lady.
But when they're not horned up, they don't make that noise, do they?
No.
No, but every time Salty's around, he just has that effect on everyone.
When I was a koala rescuer in Queensland,
whoa.
I used to rescue koalas in Queensland.
Okay. You've mentioned on the podcast, which is interesting that Cam didn't know that.
Yeah.
Has it been mentioned on the podcast?
I think so, yeah.
Recently. This year, when we talked about bushfires.
Yeah.
All right. I must have tuned out.
We had a set a trap. Well, the rescuer that was on duty before us had set a trap for a koala around a tree because there was a sick one in the tree. So you set up a big fence around the bottom of the tree. They climb down. They can't get out.
Sucked it.
Yeah. So we were on the night duty. So it was about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We got a call to say, I think the koala's been trapped by one of the local residents. The house is backed onto bushland.
Mm-hmm.
So at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're like with torches walking through like this scrubland, and we find the tree that's got the fence around it, and we're like, okay, there it is. We have to sort of get this sick koala into a cage, and then just in the darkness in the distance, that male koala sound just starts like just off in the distance. And as we were working, it was just slowly getting louder and louder. So loud. Like this horny bloke was on his way.
Yeah, right.
He knew that there was a female koala on the ground.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm getting chlamydia today. Oh, God. He was fucking beelining it for him.
Oh, God.
And it was a freaky noise to hear in the middle of the night. If I was back in bloody 1940s and and I was like out in the bush and you heard that noise, you would be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Just a horny koala. 1952, mystery of lioness. Circus is in the district, but officials denied a circus animal was large.
That's what they would say.
Yeah. There was a circus around, and then people, this Miss B. Cleveland and Mr. H. Maiden of Falcon Road, Beaumaris, said they saw the lioness through the kitchen window about 2 p.m. It was drinking at a water hole about 100 yards from the home. Mr. Cleveland, who has seen many lionesses in her world travels, said tonight it was definitely a lioness.
It's a bit of a brag there.
Yeah.
I think she just...
Not even a humble brag. I guess that hadn't been invented yet.
No, it's just a brag.
She said that about 3:45 p.m. she saw two men at the waterhole carrying what appeared to be a stretcher. After a short time, the men began digging near the waterhole. When a Melbourne radio station broadcast the news item about a mystery animal, 7 people claimed they had also seen a large animal during the afternoon.
The real mystery is these men. What's going on there?
What's that?
These men with the stretcher.
Yeah, I don't know.
That seems like a mystery to me.
The lion killed someone down by the waterhole.
Maybe she's the only one that saw it.
Yeah. So then, a couple of days later, the lioness that scared 2 women in Beaumaris in Melbourne suburb yesterday is now believed to be a large dog. A big tawny-coloured Alsatian lives on the edge of the swamp, only a quarter of a mile from where the mysterious animal was sighted.
There you go. That's the history of the Gippsland panther.
Yeah.
I've got some modern stuff if you want to just... there is a guy currently searching for the Gippsland panther. I thought this was a joke because it's on a website called Gippslandia, which seems to be a legitimate site. It's not
why wouldn't it be?
It's not a parody of Portlandia.
Yeah.
It looks very beautiful. There's nice photos. It's a well-presented site. Arnold Olsen, who's a former hunter from Norway, keeps on visiting and he's searching the Gippsland panther. And I was like, it's a joke about some crazy Norwegian guy. But no, it's just a Norwegian guy.
Just a crazy Norwegian guy.
Yeah, but I thought it was a parody or something, but no. It's just some Norwegian hunter guy that goes, and he hasn't found it.
Note that he's a hipster as well.
This whole website is hipstery.
He's not like a crotchety old hunter.
No.
He's like a modern young Norwegian hunter.
Is he based in Australia or does he come over now?
I think he comes and goes.
We need to get him on the show.
I think he's based wherever he is.
Next time he's here.
Also, there has been a
bit of youth lingo there.
A puma-sized cat which has been in the Hunter Valley. This happened just over New Year's.
Right.
There was a lady that sent a photo into the ABC of this cat sitting on a fence post that she thought was a puma. It was definitely just a cat. She's like, you can see from the size of the fence post that it's huge. It's like, it's just a cat. It's a normal-sized cat.
Yep.
Slightly large cat, maybe.
Yeah, it's a chonker.
But she's like, no, definitely. And other people are like, yeah, no, I've definitely seen it. She's calling it a huge animal. Even Kevin Brunton, founder of Australian Big Cat Research Group, just says it's probably a large cat. It's very large, even if it is just a feral cat. Even the people that are like super into this are like,
that's just a big cat.
Yeah.
But the ABC
That's what
reporter,
it's all about, though.
It's not a big cat. It's just a big cat.
Yeah, what's the difference between a big cat and a big cat?
well, she
Nothing,
says
really.
she says the cat was very, very, very big and very, very black. So it's look it up. Her name is Google Big Cat Hunter Valley. Bev Fraser. There's a photo on the ABC
Of the cat?
Yep.
Can I see it? I'll be the judge. How about this? I'll be the judge. Jury and executioner.
It took me to a video.
Of this
You can
cat.
see a little still. You can't really zoom in.
Yeah, it's like a cat.
It's just a cat.
Pass it up.
It could not be more a cat.
Which bit's the cat?
The black bit.
In the circle.
That's not very big.
No. It's sitting on a normal sized fence post and looks normal sized.
Yeah. She struggled to get close enough to video it. Why?
I don't know, maybe she's got a small leg.
Cataphobe.
Anyway, big cats.
Some of those fields can be a bit unwieldy.
Yeah.
If there's holes in them, rabbit holes.
Definitely.
You don't want to turn your ankle.
You certainly don't. Well, Bev certainly doesn't because she was too bloody lazy to do anything about it. Big cats, always people going to see them. People just see things and think, oh, that's a thing. And it might not be, or it might be. Who's to say?
Yeah. Not us.
Not us.
Not us, no.
Where can people find us online?
They can find us at thehypotheticalinstitute.com.
Yep. We're on Patreon. Thank you to Tammy, our Cooked at $33 sponsor.
We've sent 2 packages out recently to people.
They'll be going out very shortly.
Okay.
But I ended up consolidating them into one package.
Okay.
So you'll be getting one package with 2 lots of things.
Yeah.
Yep. And each one of those things has more than one thing as a part of its component. You'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point is, they're sick.
Yeah. You can get me at olivertime.com.
Also, for people who aren't on Patreon, if you join Patreon, we'll send you some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Sick stuff.
Sick.
Straight. Fucking sick.
Salty, if you want to interrupt Robbo's racist Australian accent.
Weren't we supposed to get some sick Aussie gear in this podcast?
Yeah, I realised.
Yeah, what was that?
I realised too late because he'd said haunted heels. I was like, oh, haunted footwear, haunted heels. So Australian. And then I realised like halfway through that, I'm like, oh no, I forgot to say it at the start.
You can get me at Saltmarsh on Twitter and Instagram, Andrew Saltmarsh Illustration on Facebook. Check out Toeharder on Patreon. But check out us on Patreon first.
Yeah, you can get me at Sexenheimer on the tweets, and you can check out my radio show Thursdays 4:30 p.m. on 3CR. Yeah, pass her on.
Also for you Patreons, listen to the news show every week. It's not getting as many listens as we'd like, I think. It's getting a few. But a few of you missing out on some great comedy gold.
It's not getting as many listens as there are Patreons.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And also, no one's listening now, so that call to action is probably not going to reach many ears.
Jeez.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman and you're just blind if you can't see that. Why don't you open your eyes?